Letters of John Nelson Darby, Volume 2, Letter 450-124E, of 1031. P203, J. Dunlop, Beloved Brother, I was very glad to get your letter, and though I have let a long time slip without answering it, it was not want of interest in its contents, nor failure in thinking of you, but I have a train of work which makes some letters of leisure, where it is not necessity of answering, but just, on the contrary, interest in the work and in the laborer. We go on through the toils of service, whereas good in Christ it has to make its way, and make itself effectual by divine strength in the midst of evil and alienation from God, and, as to testimony, adapt itself to it. That was what was so beautiful in Christ. In heaven all is good. God is there, and only goodness and holiness, and nothing inconsistent with it. We cannot be simple, or want simplicity there, for God fills everything, and we and all are what He would have us. It is an infinite I am of good. But Christ was something else. He was divine good, and infinite, but good adapting itself, showing itself infinite in being always itself, and yet adapting itself to all the wants, sorrows, miseries, sins, that were in this poor world. We get to God, get to the Father by it, because He has got to us. What a wonderful thought it is, to see Godhead emptying itself, thereby to prove itself love, as no angel could have known it, coming down as man even unto death, and to be made sin, that I might learn what God is in death, where sin had brought me, and absolute obedience in man, in what disobedience had brought us into death, the way of life, the extreme of man in weakness where, as to this world, it ended, the place where God is revealed and triumphant, and the power of Satan destroyed. But the Christian redeemed by this, and according to this, has to be this good, to express, walking in holiness, divine love in this world, by manifesting the life of Christ and seeking the deliverance of souls. What a calling! And what a privilege! But, oh, how we do shrink into self-judgment if we compare ourselves with Him. We have to do it sometimes. God, as you speak in your letter, passes us through it when needed. We know there is no good thing in us, but to know the working of evil, which we always need at the beginning, and sometimes by the way, is another thing, overwhelming sometimes. I do not mean as to doubting His love, but as occupying us with self-vileness, instead of with His blessed love and Himself. But it is really put away in Christ, and hence, when we have, in a certain sense, that is, as to the need of real uprightness of heart, adequately judged ourselves, all the flood of His grace flows in again, and we can think of Him, and not of ourselves. There are no shallows then, but they are there, and there is still the danger, until long and deeply exercised, of having to go through it again. And it is a terrible thing to think of turning the eye off Christ, and on to what is vile, for self is vile. It is this that marks the fathers, in Christ. John has much additional to say to the children and young men when he repeats his warnings, but to the fathers he only says they have known Him, that is from the beginning. That was their characteristic existence. How blessed it is! Oh, that we could walk so as to keep ourselves in the love of God. It is not knowing the Father, that was the children's place, the place of all, but Him that was, from the beginning, Christ as manifested here. I find the constant tendency even of work for the Lord, and an active mind, ever is to take us out of the presence of God, and nature is instantly up. I do not mean evil in the common sense, but what is not God, and the condition of my soul when God is there. There is a will and a right the heart claims, not willfully, instead of adoring recipiency and lowliness, with confidence and trust of heart. For God present puts us in our place, and Himself in His place in our hearts, and what confidence that gives, and how self is gone in joy. Our great affair is to keep in His presence, and the diligent soul shall be made fat. He that seeks, finds. May the Lord give you and myself to labor on undistractedly. It is not, through grace, in vain in the Lord. He does not give me as, I am thankful to say, you, present encouragement. I have no doubt my fault, and His wisdom, but I am content to be anything in His hand, and thankful to be anything. A servant is to serve where he is set, and I have been a good deal, and content to be it, though my heart might desire more direct work sometimes, a hewer of wood and drawer of water to the saints, but thankful to be allowed to be anything. The Lord be abundantly with you. Affectionately yours in Christ, etc. 1873. 52124E